Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the race this evening. Today's date, May 20th, 2025. We are here at the Maverick Cup Series inside the High Voltage Racing League at Gateway International Raceway. It should be a lot of fun tonight, as it is every night here at Maverick. We got a good crop of drivers. We're showing about 30 on track right now. We are currently in qualifying. This is race number 7. This is Tarnation TV. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Blaine Donlin, joined by the one and only Rod Weston. Good evening, sire.
How are you tonight? We're for a good one, I tell you. I think we're in a good one, actually. Gateway, if they don't know the track, it's basically, we call it Darlington, a flat track version of Darlington. It's shaped up basically the same, a little smaller track. A lot of fun. How many corners, probably turn one, we'll see. You know, it all depends on the hard braking part of it. But yeah, it should be a good race, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Interesting too with the. It looks a lot like Darlington, a little bit shorter. This is only 1.25 miles, and of course, hitting when you've got that grass between that kind of that pit road. You get the grass between the pit road and the track. That can cause problems as well. The drivers maybe overshooting, getting into dirty stuff. Penalties can be given on that. I think you were saying there's possible out of bounds penalties for things like that. So the guys are really going to have to be careful getting in and out of the pits. 40-mile-an-hour pit speed.
We think that starts right at the cone at the start of pit road. So that corner, you know, people, some maybe if we get some green flag pit stops, we got some last week at Kansas, which was really cool. That you're going to want to try to get through that corner as fast as you can, as sensible as you can. Like we believe that if you drop a tire off the dirt, they're going to get a little black flag penalty. But also, you drop a tire off there into that grass, it's going to be wet, slippery, and have potential of sliding back out onto the track in front of the cars that are still coming around the track. So that could be a little tricky.
Tracks that do that are always a little bit nerve-wracking because, you know, you can practice all day long. But when it comes down to race time, sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking getting in there. And, you know, guys will make mistakes. But that's what racing is. 100 laps on the clock this evening. Like I said, this is race number 7. The points are scrolling right now. Merkel in the lead, but only by a little bit. He's the first one to. He's over 1,000 points. This guy's been pretty much unstoppable. But unfortunately, speaking about unstoppable, the last 2 weeks, Zach Rogers has won the last 2 races. Ben was telling us before this race that if he showed up tonight and won this one, no one at Maverick has ever won 3 in a row. I don't see Zach. So that's probably not going to happen tonight, unfortunately.
Somebody should have let him know that, and so that he could get him in here so he could try to do that. I do believe he probably done well and had a potential chance of it. The other thing that still kind of surprises me a little bit is Jack Merkel kind of made the way he explained it was kind of a bet or something that he could do it and not qualify and still win a race. So we're on, I believe, the 3rd or 4th race that he's been trying to do that. Now, he still finished well. I mean, he's finished in the top 3. I think the last 2 races, he just hasn't won yet. So he's continuing to do that. He did not take his time this evening, and we'll be starting 26th in the field. So,
okay, so he is in the race, though, right? Because I don't see him on TeamSpeak.
I'm not sure if he's on TeamSpeak. I can have to look for it. But
I show him.
He is in the server.
He was in the server. He's disconnected, yeah. Cool. But yeah, there it is there. He's got 1,147 points, 198 in front of Josh Mercurio and Austin LaPlante. Those are your top 3 drivers currently. Keith Hughes, RJ Bishop, Adam Cole, Michael Norman, Anthony Mercury, and Tate Dorsey round out the top 10. Looks like I highlighted 9. Missed. Ulysses Sandoval is the 10th. The yellow highlight is supposed to encompass 10 drivers. I made a mistake. My bad. I apologize. Well, anyway, let's head to the track here. Right now, we have... Actually, do you want to run down the qualifying order?
RJ Bishop, everybody there. We have a lot of fun with him. He got the pole, and outside him is Anthony McCurry in that new Coke car tonight. Kind of a neat paint scheme, kind of like that. Jonathan TV in the third spot. Zach Hall in the 32. He's starting off in fourth. Our Cadillac driver, Josh Mercurio, is going to start off fifth, and Mike Norman in the 22 will be our sixth place driver for starting off tonight. Canby Edwards, right? Carnaby Edwards in the 68 tonight. Now, last week I think he was in the 80, and wasn't he their substitute guy?
I believe, I can't remember. There was a few substitutes last week.
Santiago Gutierrez, I said it right. We're going to start off eighth. Our buddy Denny Carroll in the old Snap-on Chevy Camaro will be starting off ninth. And I gotta figure out this one here. Jorge Poncho, isn't it?
Jorge Pochon?
Jose Pochon, and that's it. Sorry about that, getting that wrong. He is going to be starting 10th. Want to go from 11 down?
I can do that. Yep. Let me put this camera back.
That's a good view there, the camera view of the track. It definitely looks just like the Darlington's.
Yeah, that's a neat little trick we can pull with FreeCam to get you the version. Like you said, it's a flat version of Darlington, a little bit shorter. And of course, there's no gigantic banking going on. But from the 11th position down, we got Keith Bowden in the 66th, Tate Dorsey in the 6th. Oh, I can't remember Taher's name. Trek Togger.
That's
in the 06 and 13th position. Matthias Yankee in the 31 and 14th position. Mark Snyder in 15th. Dylan Young in 16th. Austin LaPlante in 17th. Keith Hughes, 18. Is it Mike Carroll?
Yep.
Yes, it is. Mike Carroll in 19th position. And Matt McIntyre in the 20th.
In the 21st position. Oh, yes, the 21st position, our man, Ulysses Sandoval. Hey, he's starting off in the 20th position tonight. The 49, Nate Wenzel. Look at me and you. I got qualified tonight. Benjamin Snyder will be starting in the 23rd position tonight. Mendez, I don't remember his first name again. I got to get this down. But 34, Mendez will be the 24th position. Trey Kingsley is back there in the 26th. I'm going to get him. We're off by 2, so it's 25th. Sorry. Then Jack Merkel, he's going to be the next to the last driver, and our last driver to take time for the evening will be, well, not take time, but line up will be the Bubba Hubba Bubba Chevrolet on the 711 of John Godfrey.
Merkel with that no qualifying time. He's the guy to watch. He's got 100 laps to figure it out.
Okay, buddy, fired up here. Remember, one switch at a time, turning your stuff on.
We have 20 drivers from the USA, one from Argentina, one from Brazil, one from Canada, one from Colombia, and one from Peru. We're missing some of the drivers that we usually have. It's a little different tonight. We've got 8 Chevrolets on the field, 7 Toyotas, 3 Lexuses, 2 Dodges, 2 Fords, 2 Kias. We know that's the Snyders. And Josh Mercurio, and the only Cadillac in the field.
Nice. And joining us this evening for the Grand Marshal duties, he's in the YouTube chat as well for GraySpeed Productions. We got Alex Gray with the call this evening, so we'll let Alex take care of this. Make sure you visit the YouTube channel. It'll be on your screen in gigantic font, I promise, and in the description below.
Drivers, start your engines.
There it is. Thank you very much to GraySpeed Productions on YouTube. So get on your local YouTube machine, type in those characters, check out what GraySpeed does. Alex Gray. I know why he. I think I know why he called it GraySpeed. Because it's his last name.
Well, that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Yeah, Ben was telling me he's got an interesting YouTube channel. I haven't had a chance to check it out, where he's got some fantasy stuff going on there, a whole bunch of like, what if this happened, what if that happened back in history, kind of flip the whole thing around. So it's kind of a neat little spin on existing NASCAR stuff, but maybe, maybe Dale Earnhardt Incorporated doesn't exist, what happens in that situation. So it's kind of neat to see how he puts all that stuff together.
Jimmy Johnson never goes to Hendrick Motorsports, what happened, that kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Ryan Newman never made it to Cup. He'd have all kinds of these neat little what if scenarios.
It's pretty cool.
What happened if Richard Petty never won anything?
Boy,
yeah, that's probably
he wouldn't be the king anymore now, would he?
No, he wouldn't.
These cars down pit road. RJ Bishop's going to bring him to get start in the restart zone here. Good start by RJ Bishop. Josh Mercurio got a really good run back there from 5th position. He's inside Jonathan Peavy and I think it's Zach Hall on the outside there.
They're 3 wide back there already.
Yeah, Anthony McCurry got a really good run through 1 and 2, and actually took the lead over on the backstretch. Good start for Anthony McCurry. 3 and 4, basically, it's just like think of Milwaukee, if you know what that track is out there. Basically, that's what 3 and 4 is.
And being a flatter track, too, I don't know, they seem to be more hectic. I like them. They seem a little wider. I don't know why. They might be the same width as a track that's got a super wicked bank, but it's just nobody's going to, people will run in different spots on these flatter tracks. It's just, there's more space, it seems.
Of course, this is a Maverick version of the track, and I know they do some pretty good work to the tracks that we've seen. The outside groove actually come into play a lot more, and I'm kind of hoping that that's the case here tonight, because otherwise usually this would be a one groove racetrack. You might be able to get them in 3 if you snooker them just right on the outside, but it's usually just a one groove racetrack, and then when they double them up, get them so they can run side by side a little more. That to me, it makes more excitement.
Is that possible to do? I guess with the track IRI settings, you can mess with that.
Got guys like Brian Ring out there that that have changed those tracks like that. I'm sure that any track has that capability, but you just got to get the right person to do it.
Jonathan Peavy just smacked the wall back there. We're running moderate damage this evening, so that's not going to be too big of a deal. But over time, it can add up.
Yep. Moderate damage is cool because you can get involved into a minor fender bender and when they fix it, and it doesn't really slow the car down too much, as it would if it was realistic damage. But you still can incur pretty good damage if you get a good wall. It can slow the car down.
Yeah. I find too a lot of the times if you do take a good hit, after a few laps the car will sort of settle back in again. It's almost like your tires just have to maybe they just get worn out a little bit, and once you get the hang of it, I don't know, it's funny how that sort of works. Maybe you just get used to the damage. Just have to drive it a little bit different. Once you figure out how to drive it with the damage, you can still make it work. You're obviously not going to be as quick, and you're not going to be able to hit your marks as well, but at least you can still figure out how to work around it. More so during realistic damage, not so much moderate.
Right. We talked about that, I had a race once at the Rock where backed it into the fence. It bent to back up the car a little bit, but I actually loosened it up a little bit, and for me, it made it better to drive. So sometimes it makes it better to drive, not too many times.
That's it, yeah, depending on the track and where you need your aerodynamics.
Last week's 3rd place finisher there, Michael Nolan back there in the 6th place, just riding it out. Now, the one thing we don't know, we do know they can probably go about 30, I would say 38, 39 laps on a tank of fuel. Don't know if they can do that on tires. Would be the next the big issue that
And
would be other.
yeah, flat tracking too is one of those things where you're definitely using more tires, I would think, if you're making, you make the little mistakes. They seem to be amplified a bit more, washing up the track, and then you're trying to keep it off the wall. And
it depends on the driver too, because depending on where the brake bias is, some drivers like to have a little bit more rear brake. Some drivers like to have a little more front brake. And if you're a driver that likes to have a little bit more rear brake, you try to drive it in a little bit too deep, you end up locking up the left front tire, and then that starts to wear that out. Before you know it, you're doing it too much, and then you just lose that left front tire, and it doesn't turn as good anymore.
so when you're talking about brake bias, and tonight we're running a fixed setup, you have no control over that.
No control over the brake bias at all, and they currently have the brake bias, which is actually pretty surprising. It's at 64%
To the rear.
to the rear. So you would not, you would really you wouldn't lock the left front tire up. The worst case scenario for drivers that don't like that much, it would just be a little bit loose on entry.
Okay.
As soon as you touch the brake, you're going to get a little bit more rear brake than you are front brake, and it'll cause the rear end to slide.
Ah.
I'm kind of surprised that in a fixed setup they actually have that much rear brake bias. I applaud them. I think that's great.
I mean, they must have been out here testing it, right? I mean, that's the only way they're come to a final decision on their final setup. And even if you were running open, brake bias is only adjustable in the garage, correct? You can't do that on pit road.
Right. Yeah, you can't do it in the car. I mean, in iRacing, you have a little bit of an adjustment to it, but you don't have a full adjustment. In the realistic world, you have a dial that you can just, crank it quite a ways both ways to get what you want. Now, even in the real world, you can't do it the full distance. It all depends on how you have it set up. So you have to sometimes, when you're building it and setting it up, you actually have to get it just adjusted the way you want so that you have a fuller range of motion in the direction that you want to go in.
Right.
We're dealing with that. We're working on the modified now. Last year we were on a street stock and we had the same setup in it. So
There's Tate Dorsey in the 6th car, 10th position currently. Carnby Edward in 9th. Sandy Gutierrez in the 81 car in 8th position. In front of him, Denny Carroll in the 41, 7th position. We're just going through your top 10 right now. Just slowly made my way through the whole entire field. And these are your top 10. Michael Norman in the 22 car running in 6th currently. Jonathan Peavy in the number 2, currently in 5th. Creeping up on Zachary Hall in 4th position in that 32 Coca-Cola. In front of him, Joshua Mercurio in the 86. Josh actually sent me a thing on Facebook from last year's video from last year's race here. It was a pretty wild finish.
almost looked like the Snyder just getting left. It looks like the left
Snyder
front.
looks like he may have a tire down.
Yeah, it looked like the right front tire was down.
Yeah, thing's sitting low.
If you're RJ Bishop, you just saving a little bit, letting him use up his stuff up there. I think he's just kind of waiting it out. That tire looks like it's a little bit low, and that splitter's dragging there.
Yeah. RJ Bishop in second place in the 78 car, and your leader still is Anthony Mercury in the 61, has led all of the laps this evening. 13. Matt McIntyre. I just noticed that.
RJ Bishop just drove underneath him.
Yep. He's
Pulled
trying.
down the front stretch. Oh, yeah. Trying to get through that. He saved his tires a little bit. Trying to make it at it. Ooh. Josh Mercurio almost made it 3-1 with them guys slowing them down. Basically, them guys running side by side is breaking the air for him. They're slowing each other down because they can't use the full racetrack to get off the corner.
But where's Mercurio going to go, right? Like, you can't. I mean, you could go 3 wide here. That'd be pretty cool.
But if you saw him when he come off turn 4, Josh Kerr had such a run because they were side by side. They can't go off the track, so he was come off the.
Oh, he tagged him.
Little tap.
Oh, he straightened him back out. Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, the whole top 5. 6 drivers.
Calamity. 78 is on his lid. RJ Bishop.
Yeah.
Oh, the 92 just came in there. Austin LaPlante. It looks like RJ is getting a tow. Yikes, that was like the slow motion. That was the most horrific slow motion accident I think I've ever seen. I'm like, what is happening right now? No. We'll rewind that for you here and see if we can find a better camera angle.
And because of that all, Jonathan Peavy, the first driver to be able to make it through all that carnage, and he come out with the lead. And the 81, where did he go? Maybe the 81 might have come out in the second.
Yeah, just a little bumper snag there. And it spun everybody around. Like it just clogged up that whole corner. It looks like RJ's on his LaPlante just clobbered Norman.
I just saw all the drivers came onto the track off of turn 4. So they may not have to use the pit road entry. Some tracks allow you to do that, some don't.
Oh. Well, that might be something to ask Ben. Or who do you want to...
Bring Benjamin up.
Yeah, let's see what the situation is with pit road entrance and exit here.
Benjamin Snyder, you got Rod Blaine up in the booth.
Yes, I'm here.
So we were kind of curious about are they required to enter the pits on turn 3, or can they put it off of 4?
I don't see a lot of people taking the access road. I personally do, but it's not a requirement here.
Some tracks do, some tracks don't. So that's why we were kind of curious if that was the case.
Did you have a tire go down, Ben? It looked like you had a right front problem.
Yeah, right front tire blew. You got to be good on old tires here. You're probably going to have to pit for rubber before you have to pit for gas.
One of the questions that we were kind of wondering about too, so they're good bit of advice for us. You're going to get to be the lucky dog or the weird dog.
I see that Matt McIntyre is also retired for a tire puncture. So he had tire issues as well.
All right, well, Ben, let you get back down there and, get those laps back, work your way back to the front of them and get this race won for.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
So he will be eligible for the wave around, which I'm sure he's slowing down. I figured he would have gone around for the wave around.
Benjamin Snyder, the league owner.
One of only of the 2 Kias out on the track.
So Peavy to the lead now. Zachary Hall has retired with a gearbox.
Oh.
So running up front there in the top 5, we had that little bit of a kerfuffle, to say the least, and it cost him an engine.
Lee Carroll was able to get out into the 3rd position off of pit road. Next thing is how, he's 1 lap down, RJ Bishop. That being towed in there cost him a lap.
Yeah. And this isn't a monster kind of track either. It's not like you're at Talladega. It's 2.5 miles. You could actually get towed and probably get out on the lead lap. Here, it's a 1.25. So it's in, and then where he was just in through turn. Was it in through like turn 1 and 2? That's a pretty
right
long.
at the exit of 2, yeah.
Exit of 2, yeah. So that's a pretty long tow. It's kind of like a third of the way around the track. So that's probably like a 2 or 3 minute tow.
Yep. Ready to go back green. Let's see if Anthony McCurry can. Oh, that was a late green flag.
That was
right
very
at the
late.
line.
Yeah,
So,
why aren't they going yet? Because he didn't pull
got a
the-
really good start. Anthony did not, so he had to pull back in the second. The 66, Keith Bowen, he actually almost took away third from
Denny.
that was close. And Denny Carroll.
Yeah. Bowden looks like he was running the high line, and it actually was working for a little while anyway.
He just that start kind of outside didn't get a really good start. That late start kind of threw him off. Seen that at a few tracks, and it can really throw. Oh, Denny Carroll's, he saves it.
He
Got
is
it
going to
sideways
say,
and say, oh no, Mike Norman come along, nowhere to go. Pounded the back of Denny Carroll.
Norman did not check up at all on that one. Green. We're still green.
If they were going to stay green or not. Oh, yellow flag is out now.
Oh, there's another. Okay. Yeah, and he got back onto Norman there, but it wasn't. Yeah, he didn't look like he lifted at all coming around there. Looks like Carnby Edward is around in the corner there. Let's see what happened. Looks like something happened in front of him, or did he just go around by himself? I don't know what's going on here. We're going to find out. Oh, the 42 locked up.
Just happened to switch to Denny, and he was a little bit sideways. So whether he got assistance at the beginning of that, or not really sure what happened. That Denny was sideways a little bit.
Yeah, I think he just over rotated into the turn, and then he started to spin, and he actually had it saved. But Norman ran into him. Yeah, these guys aren't taking that access road, so they can come right around and use that cone.
Just keeping an eye on Ulysses Sandoval there. He was up in the 10th position, but he elected to come down pit road and take tires. I don't know what he took for the last stop, whether that got him up there. Or he's just thinking ahead, maybe this thing goes green a little bit, that I can run a little bit longer, lead a lap, maybe, trap some people a lap down. Did take 4 tires. Anthony McCurry also pitted. He had just pitted, on that last one. So some of these guys are just using a little different strategy. As Benjamin told us, the tire wear is a little bit more excessive. You're not going to go through. You're not going to make it to the end of the fuel run, if you're running any regression at all. So, you got to kind of save tires. So it might not be the downside to it is it puts you in the back of the pack, but it might not be a bad move just to be out there with the tires. Should the green go, you'll be able to run a lot longer.
Well, we've had that happen in previous weeks too, where we'll get a massive green flag run and guys kind of benefit from, just ducking in there and grabbing, or going for track position. It can work either way.
All kinds of strategies to use. Just got to go with the one that's going to work for you. And Denny Carroll decided, stayed out there for a little while, but now he's decided to come in and change tires, probably get himself in the back a little bit. He just got kind of run over, take a break from it, get away from all the chaos.
Maybe get a little bit more damage. Maybe he opted out of the damage to take the tires, or vice versa.
Yep.
You know, a shorter track, you don't want to go a lap down. I mean, this track's long enough you wouldn't. You could get a lot of service done and not flirt with going a lap
For yellow
down.
flag
But
conditions, absolutely. Still have Jonathan Peavy back out front. Bowden is second. So it'd be interesting to see if he tries to make the move on the outside like he did last time on Jonathan Peavy there. I like that car, Jorge's. It's Jose or Jorge? Honk.
Pershone.
Push on, yeah. I love the looks of that car. That thing is just, to me, it looks mean.
Yeah, we talk about that thing every week. It's cool looking.
Yeah.
Very simple,
Very
clean, but it's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. Just looks mean. That Dodge paint scheme, you know.
I've always liked Mercurios too because it's just a couple of just colors that you don't see very often. You got the pink and that faded blue. There's a lot of cars out here are really nice paint jobs.
So interesting to see how they did the start goes this time, because the last time went kind of late.
Mm-hmm.
Caught a lot of drivers off. So let's see if this time it goes a little sooner. Who's prepared for it? Who gets the good jump? Pace car is down pit road now.
Yeah, we'll take a different camera angle on this to see if we can actually see the flag stamp.
Nice even start there. The green flag came out early this time.
Yep, seemed about normal that time.
Sean got a really good run for there. Put it on the outside there, but I think he went a little too hard, just couldn't get it to stick. Josh Mercurio was right behind him. Now the draft does come into play down the straightaway, so those three drivers out front just kind of pulled away from Sean because he didn't have anybody behind him to help him down the straightaway. I think the bottom groove's a little better in 3 and 4, but not off the exit. Sean is trying to get to Bowden. Josh Mercurio made his way into second already.
This top 10 is pretty good. I mean, these guys, even on colder tires, at least sometimes you see them run a couple laps before they start trying to bust some moves out here. But these guys are going for it right out of the gate.
It just keeps looking low, looking high. He's got PV looking in that rearview mirror and just trying to distract him a little bit.
You got Carlos Mendez in the 34, that black and green rig. And
I think we're under caution again, yeah.
Caution is out again.
Like
This
Mendez's
caution
car,
flag.
I think I would do a little different is get a little more of that green up in that nose. Even just like trim around the grill or something.
Let's see if we can find the point of caution here. Looks like Demi Carroll's involved in something. Looks like Ulysses Sandoval got loose in the corner there. Ulysses in 11th. And he just got squeezed out a little bit. Couldn't save it. Norman gets into him. Snyder into Denny. Denny's around. Pit lane camera.
So
Pit
a lot
lane
of
camera brought to you by Sunoco. Sunoco Racing Fuels.
While all that was happening, the top 5 drivers came down the road. Awesome. Hey, it's the first driver to stay out, so we've got that Dasani Lexus out in front.
Dasani Lexus. Doesn't sound right in a NASCAR race.
But it's happening. Tate Doherty's in the 6th now. Isn't that usually Rasson's car?
Which number?
6.
I thought that was Dorsey.
Okay, it is. Maybe that is. I don't know.
Yeah. We're
But
gonna get
anyways,
a view of the start line this time. We'll get the flag man in there because we've had some weird spots for the starts the last couple times, so we'll get a good beat on this. And
so the
currently
first,
first we got now, who's that? Dorsey in the number 6 car is in 3rd position. That'll change coming by the line here.
that basically, the reason that happened was that PV beat him to the start finish line on pit road. Dorsey was in
Right.
second, and lost Austin the plant led a lap. Now he's down pit road getting 4 tires conserved fuel. So you got
Noah
Dorsey.
Wetzel is being credited with that lap. So he gets points there, gets 5-point bonus for leading the lap.
Michael Norman's in 4th.
Well, technically
Okay.
3rd, right? Because LaPlante is
Sorry.
out of this. Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. And, Toby Edwards in the 4th spot.
Lights on the pace car are out, so we will go green at start of lap 30. Retired cars this evening. Trey Kinsey is retired. Matt McIntyre has retired for tire puncture and an engine gearbox failure there for Zachary Hall, unfortunately. Early day.
Mantis Yankee is going to be starting in the 5th spot with Josh Mercurial on the outside of him. Jonathan PV. And then it's Carlos Mendez to be your top 6 drivers on this restart. It'll be interesting to see the guys that took tires and the guys that are out there on older ones to see
Yeah.
if the first one that took tires would be Josh Mercurial. He is currently in the 6th spot, so interested to see if it makes a big difference or not. Of course, the top 5 drivers right now, well, Michael Norman's been up there, but most of your top 5 drivers at top got a really good run.
Green flag came out of the right. Wow. Yeah, Carnby, Edward, Mercurio. The 31 there, Matthias Yankee, man, he held on to that thing a couple times there. Just getting squirrely on him.
Jonathan Peavy and Josh McCray, they might have touched, but it was close. Peavy looks like he locked up going in.
Not a lot of room there.
No.
That's the problem. He just ran out of room and he went around. We might be in a caution cooldown point right now.
I was thinking that. Josh McCray has made it all the way up into the 3rd spot.
What happens here, the caution cooldown will be if there's, I believe it's 3, right? 3 consecutive yellows in quick succession. They won't throw a yellow for 5 laps, I believe.
Something like that. So now Tate Dorsey's just got to run. So he's got a pretty good lead about. Let's see what it says at the line here.
I'm showing 0.75 to second place with Norman.
Interesting to see. Mercurio was the first one out there with the 4 fresh tires. Mind you, they're not that much fresher, but they are fresher. To see if he can actually make up time on them, or whether or not they can, keep the times about the same.
Top left-hand corner of your screen, and that black box will give you live telemetry at the line, so we'll see right here pretty quick. Norman closed the gap just a little bit from 7.5 to 0.66.
I think probably Dorsey's probably on the tires longest out of the top 3. So.
Oh, okay. So he was opting for track position.
Yep. Ooh, a little sideways there. Dorsey,
yeah, I noticed.
Saved it, but he lost a lot of time.
Yeah, that happened last lap too. Just not as drastic, but he had a little bit of a slip.
Hanging Michael Norman right there behind him. But catching him and passing him can be different things. You know, he's got to be able to catch him in the right spot where he can get that run on him. I think Jonathan Peavy just came out off the pits. One of the drivers that were involved in that little slide that we saw going. I saw him lock up all four. So
yeah, he probably definitely needed tires, and he probably needed damage repair too.
The back of the car is pretty that sad face look on the back of it.
Yeah,
he bent it up a little bit.
Ulysses Sandoval has retired. We were watching Ulysses earlier in the race, and it just looked like he couldn't find a line that he was comfortable with to get around this place. So he might have just said,
"Yeah,
you know what? I'm just in the way," and maybe he'll just retire. I'm assuming that's what happened, because it's not like Ulysses to just bail, but sometimes you just can't figure out a track. You know, and it's not like you can't figure it out. It's just sometimes people are so much faster too. I've had that happen. Where I just feel like I'm in the way.
Not everybody's a short flat track fan, so
yeah,
it's a style.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Maverick. Every race, different style. Every week, different track. You know, so we were road coursing it, super speedways, flat tracking. So something for everybody.
Yep.
And it also depends on the setup. On the track setup, the car setup, there's all kinds of things that play into it.
So, Nate Dorsey was able to get by Jonathan Peavy and put him back down at least one lap. He might be more than that. He is just one lap down. And that kind of slowed, Dorsey got by him, and it kind of slowed up Michael Norman a little bit. Dr. Curio just took over the second spot away from Michael Norman. He's got like I said, he has his first car that for fresh tires. So
right.
They're starting to come into play. Dorsey's starting to run into some of the lap down or lap traffic. Woo, Peavy! What a save!
Nice save.
He is drifting that thing.
McCurry checked way up to avoid colliding with him. Great save by Jonathan Peavy there in the two. Full four-wheel drift. About 100 miles an hour.
Carlos Mendez is involved in that situation, or the last time we saw the car sliding back. I'm pretty sure if he hadn't pitted yet.
Yeah, and he's got some rear-end damage. He was up in the top 5. Carlos Mendez. Sandy Gutierrez was up there, too.
I'm trying to think. I don't think he has pitted yet. So, he's just trying to hang on, hoping for a caution that'll keep him on the lead lap and get in there and get that thing fixed. Ooh. Got his hands full with it, though.
Yeah, Mendez does have 2 pit stops credited, but depending on when they came,
right,
he might need another one. Focus on Gutierrez in the 81, currently about to go a lap down in 16th position. Dorsey in the 6th right behind him.
Dorsey's lapped all the way up to the 16th position. I don't know if the 81 was involved in that at all either, so he might have been one of the 3 guys that got involved in that little situation that kind of slowed me down and allowed the leaders to catch up to him. Josh Mercurio, though, those 4 fresh tires is coming. Just makes a move underneath Nate Dorsey in turn 1 and 2. Let's see if he can get it done off the exit. Oh, yeah.
Make sure, yep. 100%. That's how you do it.
Seen Jack Merkel do it a couple weeks back there at Kansas, where he slapped on some tires a couple of times, and later on in the run, we had a long green flag run, and he went right out to the front. And as soon as them guys started pitting, he wisely pitted to try to stay within the pit cycle that they were in. Oh, Mercurio lock up in turn 1.
Big one.
Whoa, what a save, though.
What happened there, you think?
I think he might have just put too much on it, too much brake in it.
Yeah.
Trying to drive it in a little too big. Like he locked up the left front.
It looked like a right side tire.
Could have been. It looked like it locked right up, and he went straight.
Yeah, that's wild. That thing did not turn at all. Missed his
That hill
breaking
straight.
point, and I mean, that can happen. I've had that happen too. The pedal's just weird sometimes.
He kind of took away some of the advantage that he had on new tires.
Yeah, that might have flat spotted one of those tires real bad too. Depending on how much heat got in there, it might have damaged the tire.
Oh yeah, it'll wear him out quick that way. And then he's back to third behind Michael Norman.
Yeah, like if you do that 3 or 4 times, you're pretty much cooking that. That tire's pretty much a yogurt.
The thing of it is, you do that once, you've just taken more out your front tires, and now you can't you can't turn as good as you did a lap or two ago. So
yeah, we're running 2X, so that takes a lot of life out of those tires. Even if it takes 3 laps off that tire, that's 3 laps you could have been doing something.
and he's kind of just following Michael Norman. Like I said, there's taking that newness off there. I don't think he's going to have much for him. Smart move for him, just ride it out until its next pit stop. Get some freshmen on there. Try to just stay within sight of the leaders. And
RJ Bishop back there in 5th. Jonathan Peavy in 17th there. 6th position, Carnby Edward. He's back there with Jorge Pachon.
to see that
Danny
RJ
Carroll,
was able to-
he's been banged around out here, but he's running an 8th again.
27, lost it in the middle of 3 and 4. I don't know if he had assistance or whatever. I was looking at Michael Norman, and he had to lock up to avoid hitting him.
In a replay here, we'll check it out. Mark Snyder just going around Noah Wetzel.
While we were doing that, I missed the fact that Josh Mercurio, which is way back up in past Michael
Wetzel
Norman.
assisted Snyder in that one. But yeah,
Okay,
great avoidance by everybody involved in that one. Mark Snyder to the pits road.
Anthony
With some service.
Anthony Mercurio's got his way back up into the 3rd position. Kind of snookered up there. RJ Bishop's now into the 4th. Newer tires that were further back are now starting to work their way towards the front. Josh Mercurio's just kind of slowly but surely running down Dorsey.
And Dorsey's been between the 2 lap cars there for a little while. He's got... Who's he got there? He's got Carlos Mendez and Sandy Gutierrez in front of him, so Mendez behind him. Mendez going to move over now, probably let Mercurio by.
Say, Mercurio doesn't have the greatest of front tires right now.
That's true too, yeah. Mark Snyder coming out of the pits.
Beat me to it. I was just going to say that. They have nice tires, but he's... Oh!
Mark. Oh, man, he hit that wall hard.
Yep. I was just trying to be a gentleman and
held on to it. Oh, no, Mercurio again.
And locking it up.
He's stuck on the wall now.
That's going to hurt.
Oh, Mark avoided him. Good save there. Oh, man.
Now we had a bit of a green flag run. Oh, Anthony Mercurio up into the fence. We talked to Benjamin earlier about how the tires, they kind of did fall off. So
yeah,
it's quite possible that it may be time to start pitting and get some fresh tires on these things.
Well, Mercurio's locked him up a couple times really good.
Yeah, good.
I'm curious, he might, you want to go the distance on your pit stop plan, but I'm wondering if that plan has now changed.
It would depend on, just because you can go the distance on fuel, you'd have to go so slow to be able to make the distance to save tires. So
so what's the point?
It would probably not work out. It might not be a bad idea. You kind of have to figure out where you can go with the good on the tires and then maybe a couple laps where they start to fall off, then pit. But you never know, because I mean, the problem is if you pit under green flag conditions, you're going at least one lap down. As we've seen some of the drivers that are just recently coming out, they're all one lap down. So you're gonna, depending on your location to the leader, you're gonna go one or possibly 2 laps down. So
Yeah. Black flag being shown to the 49 of Noel Wetzel.
didn't he just pit?
I believe he did. He may have been pitting to serve that.
Yep.
But that's the thing. The only way under green flag conditions, the only way you can get a black flag is to actually mess something up in pit road. So he probably went down and speeding. Had to go back through. This right here, what you're watching, is the battle for second place. Anthony McCurry and RJ Bishop takes over second.
Watching Nate Dorsey up there and watching Dylan Young. Dylan Young unlapped himself there. Didn't notice that RJ Bishop had gotten up into the second position. The 81 there of
Gutierrez.
Gutierrez did go back down lap again.
Yeah, Gutierrez is 1 lap down. So is Carlos Mendez in the 34.
See my little troll Mackenzie's on the in the chat. She hates it when I do that to her, but hey.
She sent that message over half an hour ago, so you're probably all right.
Yeah.
Thanks again to everybody who watches on the YouTube channel. That's so cool. Tarnation TV's up to 297 subscribers now, which is kind of crazy.
I had to give my daughter a hard time today, and I'm going to have to do it now live.
Okay.
We have 10 people watching right now. We only have 5 likes. Come on, people. If you're watching, you like it. Like it.
Yeah.
If you don't dislike it. That's fine, too. At least we need to, we know how you feel about it.
Then subscribe to it. And then Oh, what happened there?
I think Dylan Young's got a tire down, maybe?
He might, yeah. He went backwards in a hurry. Holy moly.
He looks like he hit the fence, just slowed him right down, and he's got a tire down. He's just trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack without getting hit.
Yeah, I can't. He's against the wall, so I can't see
He's in turn 3, so he's going to have to go all the way around the track. He's probably going to go for a tow.
Yeah, he'll probably call for a tow.
He did. He went for a tow, yeah.
Yeah, he started going backwards real quick. And Dylan was in 15th. The next car behind him is a lap behind him, so it's probably going to be all right. Dylan Young has retired. It just popped up. Dylan Young retired. Back to the leader here, Tate Dorsey, followed by RJ Bishop.
Dorsey
sponsored by Denver Mattress.
Very well up there.
Sorry? Say again?
He surprised me because, he's on older tires and he's been doing very well up there.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be able to hold off RJ Bishop for long. As we say that, RJ just trying to get underneath him. RJ's got newer tires than he does, but that was a good run for him. Out front, led 27 laps, the most so far, so that's pretty darn good.
That's a lot.
He hasn't given up yet. Still fighting for it.
Yeah, they're still side by side. Oh, Dorsey might have overshot that one.
Yeah. He did newer tires that RJ's got. He just really couldn't do much with it. Put up a valiant effort, though.
RJ Bishop, your new leader. He has led his first lap of the race.
I was wondering, I don't think he had let him any laps yet. So.
Nope. And Tate Dorsey right behind him has 28 laps led. Josh Mercurio has 1, and Anthony McCurry has 16. And then 10 led by Peavy. And Noah Wetzel also has one as well. So retired drivers this evening, we've got Dylan Young, Keith Bowden, Ulysses Sandoval, Benjamin Snyder, Zachary Hall, Matt McIntyre, and Trey Kinsey. McIntyre and Hall had, let's see, McIntyre had tire problems, Hall had an engine problem, everybody else is just out. Lap number 60 of 100.
Jonathan Peavy's still out there rolling around. He's in the 10th position, one lap down. I just had to catch up to him earlier. We saw him, a little damage on the car. He's still out there, still going as strong as he can. Michael Norman's currently running in the 5th position, which is, he's been running up really near the front most of the night. Still staying out of again, stayed out of some of the trouble. He's caught up in some of it, but he's having a great night so far. And I think he's probably just getting ready to use some strategy here, get some tires on that thing. If he can't get up near the front again. As I said, Michael Norman headed to pit road right now.
From 5th position.
Harvey Edwards is coming in with him. You know what that means? If someone's just pitted instead of put tires on, it won't take long for the rest of the drivers up front to realize that's happened. They want to get back in there, get in there and get their tires before they lose too much position to them guys.
Yeah, because once they get back out there, they're going to start gaining.
Yep.
Currently focused on RJ Bishop, the leader of this thing. Right behind him, Josh Mercurio. After locking him up a couple times, still up there keeping pace.
Yeah.
I figured he would have gone early for tires.
Still, I just keep looking to see who's going to try to come into pit road next. The downside to the guys that just pitted, they're not going to get a lead lap. Once they get going, he may make up enough time to where they can make that up and then some by the time these guys pit.
Dorsey on the pits. Looks like he's getting full service.
He ran that run very, very well.
Yes, he did. So's Mercurio. I'm surprised he's still doing what he's doing. After flat spotting those tires like that. Might be coming now. I guess we're going to find out. Nope.
Watching Michael Norman there. He's currently 8th position. Of course, he is still one lap down. He's making up some time.
I mean, everybody's a lap down now because RJ and Mercurio haven't gone to the pits. So,
yeah, they're the only two on the lead lap.
So this is pretty crazy because the longer that they can run, here goes RJ now. He's ducking down. He's taking the access road. The longer that they can run these tires, Mercurio makes it in. Okay, so that's going to be big for Mercurio because Mercurio actually took the point of no return right there, where RJ actually went for the drive. So Mercurio just made up a lot of time.
Yep.
He had a 2.2 second gap at the line last time around. Now they're right behind each other in the pits.
Dorsey must have had a great pit stop because he beat Michael Norman and the 61 of Anthony McCurry out of the pits. So
Nice.
we know Michael Norman pitted before he did. Granted, Michael was a little ways back when he did. Dorsey right now
You see him
coming
coming
off
around.
of turn 2. We just saw Mercurio come off pit road.
Bishop's there
RJ
too.
Bishop's going to beat. He's going to come out ahead.
Wow.
Dorsey.
See, I thought Mercurio would have been right there because his pit stop was really
Yeah.
good.
Even though he took the access road, RJ Bishop really didn't waste any time on there.
No. I was surprised about that. He took the access road. Mercurio did not. And same gap.
Of course, he's trying his hardest to get back ahead of RJ Bishop. Bishop's got a little bit fresher tires than he does. Coming up on Mark Snyder, the left car. Mark goes to the high side, lets him go through. Always the gentleman driver.
Dylan Young in the YouTube chat there said his game froze up on him. Unfortunately, that's why he was, the 42. Black flag being shown to Carlos Mendez. He's only a lap down. That's going to cost him.
It was probably a speeding penalty.
Yeah. A pit-related flag would be speeding, unsafe entrance, unsafe exit, passing the... Well, it wouldn't be... You can't pass the flag, man, because there was no yellow, but... You got 3 laps to serve it.
We haven't really been paying attention, but we only got 3 laps left.
Yeah. Been a great...
Whipping right through you with these green flag runs.
Yeah, the green flag. I mean, same thing happened last week. We had a few yellows to start the race. It's happened a couple times this year, and then all of a sudden we just get into this big, gigantic green flag run. And on a track like this, too, the pack, it's not like pitting at Talladega where you're pitting with 15 other guys. It's a flat track. Everybody gets spaced out. There's lots of space, lots of room coming into the pits. So it cuts down on pit road accidents, and everybody can just kind of get in a groove and start picking those laps off.
So for fun, what we should do is we should have a mandatory flag pit stop. Everybody has to pit all at once.
Ooh.
That would be melee.
Some people would not like that.
No. Oh, no. But
Carroll on the pits. 14th position.
right now, RJ's got everybody but the top 10. The top 9 down.
Yeah.
Austin Millet is the last car still on the lead lap. 28 seconds behind the leader. He was running up front earlier in the evening. I'm not sure if he got caught up in one of the melees the last time. I was running through the thing and saw his car. It looked like it was a little beat up on the driver's side, so he must have got caught up with something.
Michael Norman in the 22 and Carnby Edward in the 68 here. Battle for 5th.
Pretty much the only 2 cars that are fighting for position that are relatively near to each other.
Yeah.
Green flag pit stops have kind of separated everybody out a little bit.
Lots of strategy in races like this. How far can your tires take you? Everybody out here right now hopes it's about 35 laps.
From what we've seen Dorsey be able to go quite a ways on them.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. We're not out there, so we don't know what they can give and what they can't do. I would imagine if you slow down your corner entrance a little bit, you might be able to. Ooh, Josh Mercurio, what a save. He's right behind Tate Dorsey, and he just tried to turn in, and the thing just snapped on him.
Mike Carroll in 35 got around all by himself. Just locked up the brakes and sat there, let everybody go by. No yellow.
The way they use the yellows is if it's just a single car incident,
Yep.
nobody else is involved. They don't pull a yellow.
Which is good, because in that situation there, he got a little loose, and to prevent himself from rolling back into the racing line, he just jammed on the brakes, waited for the people to pass him, and again, get that thing rolling again. No need for a yellow flag. Lots of space out here. Helps the race go by a little quicker too. Self spins, they won't call them. RJ Bishop about to put Trek a lap down in the 06.
I was just going to say, he wisely just saw him coming, pulled over, let him go.
Yep.
Live to fight another day by not getting pushed out of the way by the leader.
Yeah, you don't have to go out of your way to move out of the way for the leader. The leader will figure it out, but it's always nice to give them a clear path. Like, look, I'm just going to drive here. You can go that way. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, technically they don't. They're still trying to fight to stay in the lead lap. There's nothing that says they have to move. But it is a common courtesy thing.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, okay, well, you caught me. I'll let you go. It's not really a thing. I'm trying my best to keep you behind me. Clearly, you're faster, so what am I doing?
Josh McCurry made it past Tate Dorsey, got into the second position. Currently about 2 seconds, a little over 2 seconds behind RJ Bishop. Interesting to see if he's going to try to run up to him, burn his tires up a little bit, maybe get a pit stop in. You're just creeping up on him, creeping up to 20 to go. So that's the thing too. Some drivers, they may be able to go that distance. Some drivers aren't very good at managing tires. Other drivers are.
Yeah.
I think we probably would have categorized Dorsey as one of the ones that can save tires. He went quite a ways with that last step. I wouldn't be at least a bit surprised if he tries to go the whole distance.
I mean, I think from what we saw the last time around with that green flag run, that these guys can definitely make it to the end with what they got. I mean, it might be close because we're talking about, 35 laps on fuel? I believe you said, was it 35? I believe that's what you said.
In the garages, they could do about 39. So that tells me they could probably do anywhere from 30, I'd say 37 to 38.
Okay. So tires will be the issue probably. I guess we're going to find out. I mean,
yeah.
Our math is we're going off of, some practice laps that we've run, and race conditions are always different. Guys have different ways of saving. Guys are clutching. They get those couple extra laps out of it, or not. Run the thing right to the mat the whole time and burn it all up.
I don't think so much it's a fuel issue; it would be tire issues. So,
yes,
you have to look at the lap times. Would have had to focus a little bit more, like earlier in the race, on that though. But currently in the second position, we got Josh Mercurial. And his fastest lap is a 14.110. And his last lap was not a 14, a 24. And his last lap was a 24.666. So
24 or 34? 34.
34, sorry, my bad. I have number dyslexia sometimes. Just be thankful I'm not calling the 68,
Yeah. That's the thing. We could see the last lap, and it always gives you the best lap and the last lap, so you can see how much they fall over the course of a run. Even if it is half a second, when you're talking racing, that's a lot of time.
Currently, from that last lap to this last lap, Mercurio was running him down a little bit. He's made up a little bit of the time, so now I think RJ Bishop's cranked up the wick a little bit. He's down in the 34.6s. From Mercurio's last lap was a 34.7. So,
and that's the thing too. You don't want to overdrive either, right? You're thinking, I'm catching him. You got to concentrate. You lose that concentration and you make a mistake and you lose all that space that you gained. I will leave that black box up there with the stats. That's the interval to the leader. So, and it's real time. That way you won't have to let the ticker roll around. Currently focused on the 86. Last time at the line, he was 1.91 seconds from RJ Bishop in the 78. So we're going to see now. It updates pretty quick. He'll hit that start-finish line, and you'll see exactly how far behind he is.
They're turning about the same.
About the same,
they lost
yeah.
a little, but
It
they're
went-
turning about the same lap times.
Yeah, it went from 197 to 191 to 197. So half a dozen hundredths. That's how you
So
want to
they-
say it.
Yeah, they kind of before RJ Bishop turned to 34.8, and Mercurio did a 7. Now this time, Bishop 7 and Mercurio did an 8. So they're kind of just switching back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, and they've got the same situation on tires because, as we saw before, they
Yeah.
both went in at the exact same time. So these guys are
That
pretty
time-
much running the same stuff. They got the same amount of fuel, probably, and they've got the same tires situation.
And so that time there, RJ turned 200ths of a second faster than he did. So
Yep, and now there's a 2.18 second gap to Mercurio in second place.
up on about, I think we're going to be around 14 laps to go.
Yep.
Now, it's the interesting question is can they do the distance on the tires? Fuel, I really think they're okay fuel-wise.
Yeah, he's adding time. Mercurio not being able to gain on him now.
But Bishop's also turning these down to the 9s now. So probably his tires are wearing down a little bit, and he's starting to slow down a little bit. Some drivers, like RJ, I believe, would be one of those. They're pretty clever. They'll know. They just keep track of that F2 screen and keep how far behind them they are.
Yeah.
He'll run just as fast as he needs to be able to keep the distance about the same. He's adding to it a little bit, but he's not turning as fast the laps as he was about 5 laps ago.
Right, because it's not all about the times. It's about that working that track, you know?
He's trying to keep that distance and just enough so that Josh can't catch up to him.
You can save some stuff.
Yep.
You got to save your stuff.
Sometimes that doesn't always mean going faster. I don't know how some people do it. Some people I've seen save tires and still go quite fast.
Yep. Go back here to Michael Norman and Jorge Pachon in the 72.
Mike Carroll just went another lap down. Back of his car is pretty beat up, so just hanging on for dear life.
Norman in 6th and Pachon in 7th. They are the closest battle we're seeing right now.
RJ Bishop's he's down to the 35 second laps and still gaining on Josh Mercurio, so just saving his stuff. I think he's going to try to, with 10 laps to go, they got to he's just got to keep the pace that keeps him behind them. Of course, he's still running back there in the 3rd position. About a little over 6 seconds back, but still going to be a good night for him.
Denny Carroll's a lap behind these guys. Just drove by Norman and Pachon.
Must have pitted not too long ago with new fresh tires.
He did, yep.
4 tires in a cape, they call it.
Yeah.
Anthony Mercurio is still back there in the 4th position, although he is about 13 seconds back. Really haven't talked much about Jack Merkel tonight, and he has not had the night that he wants. He's currently back in the 22nd position.
Oh, he finally just popped back onto the scorecard. Something that must have happened to him because he never started the race.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of weird that he's 37. We never really saw him all night.
No, and I haven't seen his name on the scorecard until just when you said it. It says he's 67 laps down and running. So is he actually on the track now?
He is on the track now.
Oh, okay. Because something happened to him because he wasn't on the track for the first 3/4 of this race. So
okay, I was going to talk about him a little bit just because the situation that he's starting in the back and whatnot. I've been kind of talking while I was doing a little bit. I went looking for him to see where he was, and I couldn't find him. And
yeah, it shows him right now on lap number 26.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't know what happened to Jack. He must have had good connection issues or something because he has been completely absent from this race until just right now. So,
unfortunate for him, but
I mean, he's still
making up some points.
Yep, I was going to say he's not last. And if he runs now to the end, he will actually overtake Benjamin Snyder. And probably Ulysses as well. Maybe. He'll get Ben and Ulysses, so that's 10 points. He might get Bowden. No, he won't.
I don't think he'll catch Bowden.
There's only 5 laps to go. He won't catch Bowden. But, he'll gain a couple spots. Because he's in 22nd right now. And, yeah. That's what they say. Get out there and start running. Points are points. It's a long season. They all add up.
Whew. Jay's tires must be getting down there because he just come out of turn 3 there and it drifted high.
RJ?
He's got a good enough lead. He shouldn't be running as hard as he is. He should just kind of save his stuff, and doesn't matter if Josh starts running him down a little bit. Just let him do it. Save your stuff. Go for the win.
He's got almost a 4-second cushion behind him to the second place car, Josh Mercurio. With 4 laps to go, there's no panic. RJ Bishop showing you how it's done. Led 38 laps so far. 39 right there. Lap number 97 of 100.
Hold of most laps from Tate Dorsey. Still running it pretty hard though.
Yeah, I'm still showing him at 100 mile an hour in the corners. Which is not, not slow.
2 laps. About 2 laps to go here.
.16 gap. The gap is getting bigger, so like you said, Mercurio's in the same boat. They got the same amount of tires, so it's just who's been managing them better.
Michael Norman's back there in the spot, and he doesn't want to rear view mirror. RJ Bishop is coming hard.
I went to the white flag. RJ Bishop, yeah, still driving hard, man. He's keeping that thing up around 105 mile an hour going through the turns. That's the big turn, too.
All but the top 5, 1 lap down.
Yeah. Another clinic, as they say.
Down into turn 3 and 4 for the last time. Still driving in there. He's on a high groove. He's got those tires wore out, so he's just kind of going in and letting it diamond keep going. There you go. RJ Bishop, our winner for tonight. in 42 laps.
Yeah. 43, right? Because he led the last one.
Yeah, that's right too, because I haven't reset yet.
Yeah. Congratulations to RJ Bishop. Holy moly. That's how you do it, ladies and gents. Some
Awesome.
congratulations there from PV and Norman.
Tate Dorsey had a really good run for the third place.
Yeah. Everybody involved really tonight. It was a great race all around. You know, not a whole lot of issues really. Some issues early, but the last
3 quick cautions and then green flag all the way the rest of the way. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, just gonna say that the last 3 quarters of this race were phenomenal, and it really showed, you know, tire management, fuel management, just able to get around this track.
We see if we can find Tate Dorsey and get him up here and have a word with him. Tate Dorsey, number 6 traveling Ford Fusion, 3rd place tonight. You led 8 laps tonight. You had ran up front all night long. A little bit of strategy got you up front, and I was very surprised you stayed up there. Tell us a little bit about your night.
Yeah, it was good. I really liked this track, and I thought we had a good enough car. Top 5 I was shooting for, and before the competition caution came, I pit. I was like, if we get a quick caution, I'm just going to stay out, try to keep track position. Had to save a little fuel at the end, but it worked out there.
We saw that you basically, there was the caution, you stayed out. You pitted not that long ago, and we were beginning to wonder if that was going to be a good strategy for you. And you led for quite a while until some of the guys that were further in the back that had new tires finally eventually caught up and got to you. You still, ran really, really good, and you did the pit stop there for the end. We were all up here wondering whether you guys could make it on tires, and knew you could do it on fuel. And gosh, that was a great points night for you too. So yeah,
I'm pretty happy with that. Once I got the lead, I got a little bit of a gap, and I just kind of backed up my entry a little bit, tried to control them just a little bit more, and caught some lap cars that helped me too. I think Mercurial was about to catch me, and some lap cars were in there, and I got a little bit of a gap again.
Yeah, I think it was Mendez. You got around Mendez, and that slowed him down a little bit. And you caught him in the right spot where he caught him in just the wrong spot. And, it was just one of those situations. And you finally, once you got going there, like I said, tires fell off a little bit. But, yeah, super night for you. You can't complain. Geez, we had 3 early caution flags and the rest of it under green. That was an awesome race.
Yeah, that was fun. I pit earlier than RJ, and he came out right in front of me with the fresh tires, and I tried to keep up with him, but he just had really good entries. Like, I think I'm going to spin myself and cooked my tires a little bit more than the first run, but
yeah, you had it pretty sideways a few times in the corners. We see that. You were doing a little bit of drifting and just a slight bit of overdrive. So. But,
just got to keep that right rear warm,
Oh yeah, that's a good strategy to keep that tire warmed up. It works better that way. All right, well, congratulations on your third place finish. We're going to give you the floor to thank the people that got you.
One sec. Yeah, thanks to Maverick. Ben does a good job with this. Keith for off-track adminning. Shout out to my wife and kids. My daughter's trying to play with me right now, but we'll wrap this up quick. And yeah, just RJ Mercurial, that was fun racing them, and you guys, thanks for putting it on. You guys do a really good job with the broadcast, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Tate Dorsey, a third stage.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a good night.
Josh Mercurial, you got us?
Hey, I can hear you.
Good. So, great run for you. You led a little bit up there. You ran pretty decent. What's up with the lockup in turn 1?
Yeah, when we started that first run, or when we started the long green flag run at the end of the race, we were about 2 laps short. So I was playing with clutching on my way into the corner, and yeah, your engine does a little bit of the slowing down for you, and I just wasn't quite ready for that, and so I locked up a couple times.
Kind of wondering why you do that. I've raced along with you long enough, and I actually looked to see what the brake bias is on the setup, and it was at 64. So I didn't think too many people locked it up, and boy, we were surprised when you went into the corner and that thing just shot right straight up. I was like, holy, look at that. And, but it was a good save. You came back on it. Still, the car ran really, really strong. You know, you did a little bit of strategy. We were surprised that RJ Bishop beat you off pit road because you guys pitted about the same time. He took the access road. You went right off turn 4. We figured for sure that you would have beat him out, and he managed to still get you. So.
Well, I was still about 3 seconds behind him when we did start pitting. So I gained about a second going the long way around, and I also had a little bit of damage from that lockup that I had to fix.
The second one? The second one you hit the fence hard.
The second one I hit the wall, yeah.
Saw that. Not that we watched you much or anything, you know, just...
Yeah, eyes peeled on RJ Bishop, I imagine.
Oh, no, we went through the field a little bit, but I kind of kept an eye on where you were and kind of keep track of you know, because when you came out there the first time, you were the first car that had fresh tires, and you went right up through there. And then when you did that lockup, I was questioning whether or not you'd still have the front tires in front of you, but you still ran, you know, really great. Went back up to the lead for a little while. And can't complain. You're running the full season, correct?
Yes, I am.
It'll be a great point night for you tonight.
Yeah, obviously Jack missed the first part of the race, so you know, lucky for him, get back in and get some points. You know, it's sort of like the bad luck that you get in the game. So I had my engine blow up at Daytona, so him not being able to make the start of this one just kind of evened it out, I feel like, between the two of us. And then, you know, I mean, I was super fast. Didn't quite have the qualifying speed that I wanted, but in that first run, made up. I went from 5th to 3rd, and then I was really gaining on the top 2, about to really make my move, and then RJ decided to wreck the top 4. So
yeah, you had a great initial start. On your starts, you were spot on there. The only one that really everybody got wrong, which it wasn't their fault, was that one start that it didn't go until the lead car hit the start-finish line. That really screwed up everybody's timing, but your restarts were spot on tonight, all night.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, you know, the green flag is thrown based on where the pace car is. So sometimes you get a leader that doesn't know what the pace speed should be, and so when the pace car leaves them, they speed up a little bit, and then you get what looks like a really late green, and really it's because they sped up.
See that, Blaine? We learned something new every time.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Based on the pace car, so the pace somebody as soon as the pace car went down pit road, they you know, kind of sped up a little bit more than normal, and
the
that
pace car's he's gonna
gonna
trigger it, so you can have that gap. Yeah,
and you can't blame him too, because like the first couple times you become the leader of the race, like everything gets sped up and you don't realize how fast you're going, and you just get some weird things like that happen.
So you sent me a video about last year's race here, and not much different, podium finish.
Yeah, actually not very different at all. So I got wrecked by the guy who beat me at the beginning of the race. So last year it was Tate that wrecked me at the beginning, and he finished second, and this year was RJ, and he finished first. So
wow.
If you want to win a race, do really well, you just got to wreck me at the beginning of it, apparently.
Oh, that's the secret.
Yeah,
Why didn't I know that back
yeah.
when I raced you, Josh?
I'll
Come
just
on.
paint a big target on the back of it so everybody
It's easy to
knows.
find. It's the purple and blue car, or the pink and blue
It's the
car.
only Cadillac out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, yep. It's pretty easy to spot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give you the floor, but now the next thing is who does a great RG Bishop impression? Because he's not in TeamSpeak right now.
No, he had to
I
go
don't
to
know.
work. He texted in YouTube. He said, "You gotta go to work. I gotta bounce." So,
Well, that sucks for RJ, but he's a busy man, so don't blame him.
Yeah. But we're gonna give you the floor. Thank who got you here. So the floor is yours, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I have to thank all the CRA guys. They're all super fast. I think we push each other to get faster. So, like the guys that stuck out today were, RJ obviously, but Anthony and Michael Norman and Dylan Young. So those guys, they're fast. We push each other to get faster, and we do run some league races. I know Seth is planning a special event coming up soon, so check us out on Facebook if you want to be part of that. Besides that, I love Gateway. It's one of my favorite tracks. It always sucks when you don't win them, but I always have fun at this one. So hopefully my luck will change. Let's see what else we got during the season. We got Charlotte next. I think the flat tracks. We got Milwaukee and New Hampshire coming up soon, so I'm looking forward to those. I felt fast last year when we ran New Hampshire, so you'll see me then. And I think. I probably gained about 100 points on Jack, so not too far behind anymore. We'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations on your second place finish, and go get them for that points. We're pulling for you.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
congratulations, buddy. Have a good night. Josh Mercurio in the 99, and congratulations to RJ Bishop on his win in
99.
dominant fashion.
You got your number dyslexia. I think 86.
86, yeah. Oh, he's got 99 written in TeamSpeak. I'm staring at the TeamSpeak.
I know, but he runs the 99 somewhere else. You're right, though.
Yeah. Can't remember now.
What a race, though.
Yeah, man. And RJ Bishop, dominant race there, too. 43 laps led, got the points for most laps led as well, plus the win. So, maximum points for RJ coming out of this one. And
unfortunate circumstances for Jack Merkel tonight. Ended up 67 laps down.
Yeah.
Was in the server when everything started, was unable to take the green flag due to a connection issue or whatever. Got it back in here, got in there and raced. I think you said something about he had started. He probably only ran 23 laps, but that's points he made it all the way up to the 20th position, where normally he wouldn't have any if he didn't come back in. So that's pretty good for him.
Coming into this race, RJ Bishop was 5th place, below Jack Merkel, Josh Mercurio, Austin LaPlante, Keith Hughes. So Merkel didn't finish very well. Mercurio did. Where was LaPlante?
You can find that out.
LaPlante finished in 12th, and Hughes, I don't even think Hughes started. So a lot of points for
Hughes
RJ.
was there. I
at the
don't know if
right
he started
time.
or not. Question, because I know Hughes was in the server.
He was, but I know he's an off-track admin sometimes, so he might have been doing the behind the scenes of running the yellows and whatnot. But a great night for RJ, man, to come in here, win the race, lead a lap, lead the most laps, maximum points for him. Merkel had some kind of weird connection issue because he was absent for the first 70 laps of this thing. It's cool, man. This is our little score chart here is going to take a little bit of shuffling at the top for next week, headed to Charlotte.
He must have been mindset and admin again, because he does not show as of any of the drivers that started the race at all. So
No. Yeah, I know he sits on the sideline sometimes and does the admin duties from the side, so that's probably what that was. But next week we will be at Charlotte Motor Speedway, May 27th, same time, 8:15 Eastern start. And Primetime Racing League's playoffs on Sunday evenings are reaching out to us to cover some of their stuff. So we're in talks to see what's going on. I believe it was, what's the name of the Sunday series? I can't remember.
I don't know what they do on Sundays. What was it for IPS Excellence when it was Talladega Nights, but I don't know what they ended up doing with it. We'll have to find that out.
Yeah, I'm talking with them right now to figure all that stuff out. So yeah, we might be live on Sunday. We probably will be. So definitely check that out. But without a doubt, we will be back here next Tuesday. And yeah, again, huge congratulations to RJ Bishop, who had to step away early. He had to go to work. So he won the race, said, I gotta go, thanks, and he's in bed. He's sleeping already. So
sucks for us because we don't get an interview with him, but we understand, and he's a nice kid, and
we'll make sure to talk to him maybe next week in happy hour or something. We'll get a hold of him.
That's what we'll do. We'll drag him up, and he can do his last week's interview next week.
Right.
Great idea.
In the future, we will talk about the past.
That's it.
Any final thoughts this evening, Rod?
Great race. I mean, the 3 cautions very, very early. As soon as they did that, they did the caution cool down. They had one little episode, which would have been a caution, but they kept going from that on. Green flag all the rest of the way.
Yep.
Great race. There was some good racing, good strategy. I think it was an awesome race.
That was a fantastic race. We got 100 laps done, and the broadcast isn't even at 2 hours yet. So
that is cool.
Yep. Hats off to everybody involved here tonight. It was a fantastic race, and as always, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice.